Well. It appears the Titanic is officially sinking. This is your captain speaking, Captain Doofus. We are alerting all passengers that we have successfully hit the iceberg. Woohoo! Grab your floaties or Don's Lemons. We are getting ready to have a nice, relaxing swim in the Atlantic. We finally have confirmation to what we have known all along. We finally have confirmation that the Cemetery News Network is not only completely useless, it's also completely worthless. For years, I have been referring to CNN as the polished turd. On the surface, they make it look real nice. It has a nice shine to it, but as soon as one of the unknowns collecting woke welfare from this dump, as soon as one of the unknowns open their facial orifice and unleash a toxic mouth fart, all of that shine, all of that polish goes away, and you are left with what CNN really is: a turd. Matter of fact, it's even worse: a worthless turd. It is no secret that us normal people, we think CNN is a disgrace. Unless you're sitting in the waiting room at Woke Memorial Hospital waiting to see Dr. Tran for your gender consultation, unless you are sitting at the airport bar sipping your Don's Hard Lemonade as you wait for your flight to New Woke City, if you're not sitting in one of those two places, you are not watching CNN. This used to be the premier network in cable news. There used to be a time that CNN was the #1 network on cable. Last month, CNN's ratings in prime time increased 60%. Now, even with a 60% gain, they were still in last place. Even with a 60% gain, CNN still doesn't rank in the top 5 networks on cable. First week of August has been absolutely brutal. All those viewers that were watching CNN last month, they immediately vanished. During the month of July, CNN averaged 862,000 viewers in prime time. Through the first week of August, that number is down to a cool 569,000. And now, it seems that Wall Street is finally catching up to what normal people have known all along. Just like normal people, Wall Street has determined that CNN is worthless. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Headline at Zero Hedge: CNN effectively worthless after Warner Brothers takes a $9.1 billion write-down. Now, if you are like me and know next to nothing about investing, you're probably wondering what the hell a write-down means. A write-down is when a corporation reduces the book value of one of their assets so it's closer to reflecting fair market value. For example, let's say over the last few years, Warner Brothers Discovery, they have been valuing CNN at $3 billion, while the rest of us wouldn't be willing to pay $3 for this dump of a network. After years of overinflating CNN's value on the company books, Warner Brothers, they do a write-down so the book value is closer to reflecting market value. According to Zero Hedge, it is possible that CNN's value is actually negative and the network is rapidly losing money. Last quarter, Warner Brothers reported a loss of $10 billion. A $10 billion loss in the span of 90 days. Their stock price fell to $6.95 a share. Now, theoretically speaking, if you're an active stock trader, now would be the perfect time to buy stock in CNN. What's that old saying though? Buy low, sell high? You want to buy stock while the price is low so you can make money once it regains its value. However, I highly recommend that you not waste your money here because I don't see a scenario where CNN recovers. All these years, I have been wondering why there is a complete lack of star power at this network. I have been wondering why their primetime lineup features unknown faces along with names that you would typically see on the payroll at the local Dollar General. Or, in the case of Wolf Blitzer, woof, woof, woof. In the case of Woof, names you would see on the payroll at the local PetSmart. All these years, I have been wondering why CNN lacks star power. Now, it suddenly makes sense. The reason CNN doesn't have any stars, they can't afford them. Not only can they not afford to pay stars, they can barely afford to pay the people currently working at the network. Last month, CNN laid off 100 people. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't appear that woke welfare collectors were included in this layoff. Seems like the only people who lost their jobs are people working behind the scenes, which is typical of CNN. Seems like every time CNN has a layoff, they let go of people responsible for applying the polish instead of letting go of the people who are driving the Titanic directly into the iceberg. That's okay. That's okay. Executives at Warner Brothers Discovery, they have come up with a brilliant strategy to recoup some of this lost revenue. KC, are they going to fire Caitlin Collins? Katie Roo! Katie Roo! No, not yet anyway. I think they are still holding out hope that the Roo can be their savior in prime time, so for now, her woke welfare is safe. Several months ago, in a desperate attempt to boost ratings, CNN started streaming their network live on HBO Max. Now, the thinking was they could offer their garbage to a younger demographic who refuses to pay for overpriced cable and satellite. After careful review, we have successfully diagnosed our ratings problem. We have determined that cord cutting is the primary reason our ratings are in the pooper. To combat this problem, we are proud to announce that CNN will now be available on HBO Max. All you kiddos gather around at night and play a nice game of Guess the Anchor, where you take a shot every time CNN features someone unknown. I guess now they will blame low ratings on the fact that everyone watching is passed out. There was just one problem with this brilliant strategy from CNN. One tiny problem. The vast majority of people who watch cable news are over the age of 55, with most of them being over the age of 65. I'm almost 40. Most people my age, we're not watching the news. Hell, I wouldn't be watching cable news if I wasn't paid to do so. As expected, streaming CNN on HBO Max, it did absolutely nothing to combat the ratings problem. But that didn't stop Warner Brothers Discovery from increasing the price. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You're already struggling to draw an audience, and your solution to the problem is to charge more money to the few dozen people who are willing to pay for your garbage? Why in the hell would anyone pay for CNN? What value do they offer? Netflix is catching a lot of shit right now because they increased their rates. I believe they increased by 30%. I could be wrong though. Either way, people are complaining because Netflix increased their rates and they're also running ads. So not only are you paying more for the product, you're also having to watch doofus commercials. But guess what? Netflix can get away with it. Why? Because they have something to offer. They have something of value. Warner Brothers raised the price for HBO Max and CNN back in June. Yet for some reason, I don't remember hearing one complaint. I wonder why. Can anyone remember the last time that CNN did something that actually succeeded? Remember 2 or 3 years ago when they spent millions and millions of dollars launching CNN Plus? They went out and hired top-tier talent like Jamel Hill, Jamel Hill. They went out and hired top-tier talent like Jamel Hill and Rex Chapman. KC, who in the hell's Rex Grossman? Well, Rex Grossman is the former quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Like every other quarterback in Chicago during my lifetime, Rex Grossman was captain of the bum squad. Several years ago, Rex Chapman, he used to make headlines every once in a while in the media. When CNN was promoting the launch of CNN Plus, Rexy was one of the faces of the platform. Unfortunately for him, his media career is buried in the woke cemetery right next to CNN Plus. They moved Donnie and his Lemon, someone who actually used to draw ratings in prime time. They moved Donnie from prime time to morning television, and a move that the Don called a promotion. In the history of cable news, Don Lemon is the only person that has ever been promoted from prime time to morning television. He lasted about 6 months. Ratings were consistently in the pooper. They ended up firing Donnie because he said Nick Caley was technically past her prime. The one time Donnie tells the truth, and CNN fires him for it. This network has been through 3 leadership changes in the last 3 or 4 years. They either can't find anyone willing to save this dump, or they can't find anyone capable of saving the dump. Right now, Mark Thompson, he is responsible for trying to keep the Titanic afloat. He's been running CNN since last October, almost a full year. Somehow, though, the situation is worse today than it was when he took over. This network is such a huge, embarrassing failure, it is tanking the value of Warner Brothers. Stocks of the merged company began trading in April of 2022. In that time, the stock price has declined 70%. At this point, what is there left to do? I will give them credit. CNN has not failed due to lack of effort. Over the last couple of years, they have busted their ass trying to stay relevant, but every single thing they have tried has ended in huge, embarrassing failure. I remember a time when CNN used to be a prestigious network. Tucker Carlson started his career at CNN. Larry King Live, it used to be the primetime show in cable news. CNN used to be a network that was respected. It didn't matter if you were a regular viewer of Fox News, NBC, CBS, didn't matter. If there was major breaking news, it was almost like you were conditioned to watch CNN because CNN was everywhere. They had reporters on the ground everywhere. Now, CNN is an afterthought. Value, all-time low. Ratings, pooper. Public perception. This is what happens when the woke fungus completely takes over a network. CNN is the end result. A once prestigious network has been reduced to a worthless turd. And it all happened in the span of about 3 years. Believe it or not, CNN was the #1 network in prime time 4 years ago. That's how fast it can happen. Give me your thoughts on this. CNN considered worthless by Wall Street. The network is tanking the value of Warner Brothers Discovery. 3 leadership changes in 4 years. Multiple shakeups in the daily and primetime lineups. Nothing is working. At this point, can CNN be saved? Is there anyone or anything that can save this network? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.